I think we're gonna start doing the wiring loom. And the wiring loom, because it's half inside the car, half on the engine, but behind it, I'll probably show you the part on the engine because obviously it's there. I'm gonna show you that on my jig, on my mock-up chassis. It really is that simple, and half the stuff is disconnected. It comes out. This is, all of that is your original wiring loom from the Volkswagen engine. That is a standard one, including that relay, which you have to keep. That is very important. And this plug could be inside, could be outside. Usually it's inside because, again, I got this extra wires wiring loom code inside the car, which you can do it if you want to, because this is the thing. The original engine wiring loom, the Volkswagen one, is longer than we need, so we have to kind of hide it somewhere. You can do it inside, you can do it outside, whatever pleases you, whatever is best. Because obviously different builds, different applications, different preferences. Regardless, all of that comes from there onwards. So you have this big plug, we have my adapter plugged into it. These three ones, so orange, brown and white, again adapter. My adapter obviously has different colors. You can see white is to the black, hence there's a label, white. Green one is to the brown, where it says brown, and orange is to the black, where it says orange. I mean, can't make it simpler than this. Then you have these two plugs. These are original, genuine Toyota ones, the ones you put it in, and they go into these two plugs. Now here, obviously you can see only one. The other one is kind of brownish orange color on the Toyota, and you put this one in. Both of them body plugs. These are exactly the same plugs that you actually removed from when you remove the 1ZZ engine, because that comes with the that is a part of the engine wiring loom, standard one. These two then, again, you can't do it wrong because they only have their place. You can't put them in a different places. So this one here, again, is what you removed from the ECU, from the original wiring loom, and this one exactly the same. You put it here. So those two plugs on the bottom. You just simply connect everything back together. Sorry, excuse me. Now there's three wires that you have to. They come like this, where one is uninsulated. And two of these, when they come, they have insulation removed because very ugly way. But I test them because every wiring loom is being tested, so I have to physically go this on this thing and test the engine before it goes to you. So they literally not whatever you receive is being here running on this engine, because if it doesn't pass, you know, it has to go back to the manufacturer and check it. But they all pass. So there is, let me remove them now because we don't have to have them here. So there are labels. So A3, it means plug A. Plug A on a Toyota is the one on the top because that's how Toyota labeled them, A, B, C and D. So plug A, pin number 3. Pin number 3, you count them from the top on this side. So 1, 2. Can I show you this in a better way? Maybe. Okay, let's do it this way. So 1, 2, 3. Is this one here green and what is it? Green and brown? Yeah, it looks like green and brown. 1, 2, 3. Okay, so you connect that to these wires. But what you do, because this obviously is part, this goes to the rest of the body. What you do, you remove part of the insulation and you add this to it. Don't cut this off, you just add this to it. And then you have pin number 8, again counting from the top, blah blah blah, from 1 to 7 and 8. 8 is this one here. Number 8 is black and red usually. And you have a label. Plug A, pin number 8. And again, you're doing the same. You add this to it. This is continuous wire. You don't cut it, remove the insulation, add this wire to it. Now the one that still has the whole insulation is A15. Now A15 is the one on the bottom there, which is yellow and orange, yellow and thin red strip, sorry. Now this is the only one that you disconnect, so you end up with something like this. This one here, you can actually remove it from the issue here, from the pin, don't need it. The part that goes to the body, you connect it to my wiring loom. So basically you replace the ECU part with my part. It goes there. So that is the only one you chop off and insulate it and leave it there. So we're not gonna attach this to anything. What that means this one here, earth. So obviously in this case I put the earth here. You have a good earth points on this side, and for example, if you see this brown wire, which is the original earth of the original wiring on the Volkswagen, I put them here in the car as well, and you can put this one as well here. Now with anything that is to do with the earths, make sure there is no paint. Scratch, remove a bit of a paint there, put some grease if you don't want it to rust. Make sure there's a good contact, metal to metal, because paint is actually insulation. Don't count just on the thread of the bolt to do your contact point. Earths are as important as positives, if not even more. Okay, so now I painted this plug. This wiring is actually being tested. This is supposed to go to some of the customers, so who's gonna be the lucky bastard having that one? Anyways, so this is there, and then you have a plug here which is OBD. It's again fully functional, so you can run full diagnostics of the engine, and you can remap the standard issue, and well, full functions like on your standard car. So it's exactly the same. Now the rest of the wiring loom, as you can see, it continues. It's quite long. Now you have this single wire. This is your positive. Now because this goes back to your engine bay through the same hole we have all the rest of the electrics, but it divides in two parts. There's a single wire, and this one here goes straight to your fuse box. Remember I say there is a positive there, and we run all the positives, or we use it as like a junction board. We put it there, so that goes to your fuse box positive, the big board, the 10 milliwatt. The rest of the wiring loom we lay it down, zip tie alongside of the original Volkswagen wiring loom, because this actually goes to your engine. It's only 4 plugs and it's very simple. You see this one here with this plug, this is, again, this plug you can't mistake them because they only fit into where they're supposed to. You can't get it wrong. Anyways, this one here is your temperature sensor, and that temperature sensor is fitted to something I took off because I use it on my car, and it's gonna go behind here into the standard Toyota temperature sensor, which we put it in this piece, which again is missing at the moment here. It goes here. The single pin plug here, as you can see now, before in the previous episode or whatever it was, we put a Toyota oil pressure sensor, and that goes into this, plugs into it. Okay, and then alongside that we have the remaining 2. Now those 2, again, I put them behind there, nicely tucked together, put some zip ties. Don't make, obviously, wires fly too much around, so they don't rub on anything. So this one here, which is a single one, usually is this color inside, goes to your alternator. This is your charging point. This is connected to the rest of the Toyota system. So the alternator charge comes actually on your dash, so your dash works as standard. So if the battery lights up, means the alternator is not charging. So again, we integrated the Volkswagen wiring loom and systems completely into the Toyota one. So there's no trickery, there's no tape putting on the engine management light or anything like this. If the engine management light on your Toyota and your MR2 comes on, it means that the Volkswagen ECU sends the signal, says, okay, there's something wrong, check it up. And then you plug your diagnostics, as you would do with any other car, into the OBD we provide, and you can diagnose what the problem is, if some sensor went bad or anything. Back to us. The other plug, this one here, goes down there, and we don't have it at this moment here, but that goes into the trigger wheel sensor that we put over there. Now, zip tie here, we have a bracket, we put it there, and we connect that to this plug here. And again, these plugs are made a way that you cannot mistake them, you cannot misplace them, you cannot connect something different to it. So you see, the wiring room is not easy, it's extremely easy. Obviously now we're going to do it on that car as well, but I wanted to show you from this perspective because obviously you have a clearer view. On the car now we can't work on this side because this is all enclosed. I will have to put my hands from under the car or from on the top of the car. Also there's a plenty of space to put my hands from there onto here before I put the charge cooler in. So you see there's a plenty of space to work on this engine once it's in the car. It's not a problem, you can put these wires in, plenty of access from that side, from the top as well to this. You can get to this from the top, from the bottom, from here. It's just visually not accessible because it's enclosed. That's the only reason I'm showing it from here, but to work on it, you see it, it's plenty of space. Unless you're a giant and you have hands bigger than my legs, then maybe, but that's your problem then. I think this is it. Okay, there's another thing about the wiring room, because the wiring comes in 3 pieces. So the main adapter, and then optionally, everyone goes for it because it's no-brainer, is the charge power cable. The power cable in this case is slightly smaller here for installation purposes only, but this is a silicone one, so don't be alarmed. This is much smaller than the usually we have it, because the silicone ones inside, they are different, they carry much more capacity, carry much more current, so they can be smaller, more flexible, but they're actually more powerful than the standard ones. Anyways, it's only 3 pieces, only 2 pieces and 3 terminals, well, call them terminals. So one side goes to your alternator, and you can't, again, I made it the way that you can't make it wrong, because alright, I'll show you actually how it actually comes. Sorry for that. Can you see me? It's a good camera actually. You get the screen on the front, I can see what you see. Makes my job easier. So this is exactly what you're gonna get, and this is the wire. Okay, silicone, very flexible, blah blah, and it's very good. And you can see these are different. Now this one here, you connect it to your starter mode. I'm gonna show you in a minute. And you got 2 different lengths, you see, shorter one and the long one. The shorter one is slightly bigger diameter inside. This goes to your alternator. You can't make it wrong because this will not fit the alternator. Like I say, this is the alternator, goes behind there, and it goes into your starter motor. You see, that's the junction, and from the starter motor it continues and goes up to your fuse box. That's it, very simple. Now the third part of the wiring room is this one here, and it comes from, when you have these plugs here, there's another plug, there you go, originally is together with those, you see, is a blue plug. The blue plug connects to the third part of the wiring room, which is only one cable. It's actually not one cable, it's insulated but looks like one, and this goes to the front of your car and connects to your throttle pedal, which in this case obviously the rest of the car is missing, so I had to plug it somewhere, and it's here. This goes to you through the cable, through the pedal. Didn't notice one important thing, with 2 important things. When the engine arrives, I've checked it, and I haven't checked it completely the way I'm supposed to have, which is pissing me off a little. So wiring rooms, okay, there's 2 wiring rooms. One is the main wiring room for the engine, and the other wiring room is considered body wiring room, which interlocks with between the 2. So this is the second part of it. So the wiring rooms are connected with this plug 2 pins but only plug one wire. The other side of that is actually a very small wire. I think it's purple, so it's very confusing. This is large one, and the other one is very thin one, but that's how they connect. Then you have the main relay. Then you have your reverse light sensor and you starter motor. Now this plug is a different, because this is not the wiring loom that you arrive with the car, because this is the point. This wiring loom wasn't on the car, wasn't on the engine. This is mine that I brought just from that test engine I show you running. I had to, because I don't want to stop working on the car, I don't want to stop the progress. I don't have the wiring room, and before we're gonna get it, it's gonna be next week. So I'm taking this one and now doing the work on this one, and then I have to talk to him to replace it. But I should have noticed that immediately, so that is my little bit of a boo-boo. Anyways, that being said, and there are a couple of things they can remove from this wiring room. So for instance, you see where the wires coming out, these big ones for the, again, starter motor, which is bigger than this, and the reverse light, and this one here, this wire, you can cut it there. Now this one ends up with these 2 plugs, 3 pins and 2 pins, right? Don't need that, this is not used. Also what's not used, it's not used the, so originally they have 2 lambda sensors, narrow band and the wide band. Narrow band, it really isn't used with anything slightly remapped, or they're not used at all, almost only on the original applications. So this is narrow one, 4 pins, and there's another plug, this one here, 2 pins. This is for the additional air pump for emissions on idle, when you start it up, not idle, cold start. Again, all of that is not needed. So from this part of the wiring, let me see how it goes. You have this plug, which is 6 wires. This is the wide band lambda. This is crucial, this is very important, and the ECU really relies on that. But all the rest, it can be chopped off and just tape it off. Now these wires, obviously these are connect the ECU and the rest of the wires, the rest of the wiring to the body. This is gonna need it. So I'm gonna chop everything that's not needed, go forward, and then I'm gonna show you the rest. There you go, nice. So every time I'm doing this wiring room is slightly better. Now this is a fairly neat setup. If you notice behind, you see those 2 plugs, I unclipped them, the original ones, from their own mounting points, so they come a bit on an angle towards the back of the car, so I have more space to plug them in. Do it, you see what I mean. And then obviously all of that, you know, the original ones, then Volkswagen ECU tucked against it. We're gonna put a zip tie all around this so it stays there. The OBD plug here, so you can actually have it on the outside the moment you open this hatch. These are the wires that go plug into the ECU. But basically what I'm trying to say is, like, usually I had all of these wires, all the extra wires from the Volkswagen and everything inside here, and that is a bit of a pain to fit everything, because usually we don't refit all of this back in, but for a neat fitment you can. And the way to do it, it looks like, at least to me, because again every time I do it I seems to find better improvements, is to tuck everything kind of in this space, because this is unused, under the fuel lines for the filler cap. Not pushing anything, not squeezing too much, so there's no rubbering, there's no, you know, moving and shoveling and squeezing too much. Everything is fairly free, but you can kind of coil them inside here and it's all there. I mean, you do you do whatever you think is best. You can find a better way to do it. But anyways, this earth, I just had to slice, well, a little bit of insulation removing, because I need this earth wire a little bit longer so I can reach it comfortably to that spot there. This is where the ECU bracket is bolted to the chassis. But the only thing is, I have to again remove the paint from the chassis, like I praised before. You have to make sure everything is, you know, there's a good contact between the metals, and obviously this one here, the main. After that, we have this plug here on the top, which we can quite easily remove. There you go. And if you remove that bit of insulation, this will come up fairly close to me here, and in this space I have enough space to find the 3 wires that I have to connect and connect them to this. So everything is working out really good with the lengths and position of the stuff if you coil all of that stuff inside. And then again, ECU is here, fairly easily accessible if you have to. Not too many wires, and I guess the standard tray will still fit here like factory. So yeah, I'm happy with this one. Now eventually we're thinking with the person who's building my wiring looms, we're actually thinking to do kind of like a race wiring loom for the 1.8 20 valve. What that include, it will include obviously all the stuff we need. It will exclude all the stuff we don't need, like emissions or other stuff, so stuff that no one actually uses once you do the conversion or standalone applications. And that wiring loom will be it will also include all the additional bits that you need. For example, an external oil pressure sensor, oil temperature sensor, and all the sensors you may actually want from, for example, like an ignitron, you know, all the additional stuff. You'll be all included inside the wiring loom, and the length's actually gonna be correct for this engine to this body. Sweet. So we finished to connect all the wiring loom behind the engine, although we're still waiting for the zip ties. Steve is gonna bring them over because I ran out black ones to tie everything nicely there, so nothing rubs and everything is nicely tucked together. This blue one is going here, like I say, to the junction box, which is a fuse box. This is the positive, the adaptive harnesses. So yeah, comes from there, the rest goes there. So we're gonna make it kind of loop it here alongside of the fuel lines. Kind of, I'm gonna make probably a zip tie. I'm gonna put it there to the plastic, the other fuse box there, because from my experience, I know that is pretty good, because you put a zip tie there, another one on a starter motor, and this then goes avoiding this line, avoiding everything else, and it doesn't rip, doesn't touch anything with engine movement and vibrations. So that is a good way to do it. Obviously, few zip ties there, put everything nicely together. The water system is going to be finishing here, where this sensor is here, the other one goes behind it with this on, so but that's later date. So now, as we're waiting for that, I'm going to show you how to put the cooling system on. So first of all, we have that small pipe there. Do you remember the one we chopped up? Yeah, it is there. Okay, so we have about 10-15 mil of straight to put this pipe in. This is the original one. On this one, we're not gonna put it as it is. We're gonna cut it off. Well, not cut it off, but cut it in pieces and modify. The way we cut it, you see this piece here, this kind of like extra insulation and protection, it reaches up to here. We remove that, and then when you stretch it, it kind of goes here. So we're gonna keep that natural kind of elbow and cut it just after. So we have about 1.5 inches, nearly 2 of straight, and then we cut it there. I'm gonna show you after what to do with it. Actually no, cut it there, and then once you've done it, remove both these sides. Remove this one, remove this one, and keep that T-piece there. I'm gonna show you what to do with it. As you can see, the T-piece, if you fit it to where you cut that there, this is actually, so again, maybe explain this way. So that piece there, you remove it completely. We don't need it. We're gonna use one of the spring clips, and where I've done the cut, about 1.5 inches, maximum 2, you slice the T-piece into it. And the beauty is that the remaining pipe, it fits. There is an elbow there, there's a corner there, it fits exactly on that pipe there. The only thing is you have to put the Jubilee clip there, because the ones are like the spring style ones, turns out to be just too small for it. So a proper Jubilee clip have to be put in, well, proper, a screw one type. And then if you see this elbow, this pipe is literally looks like it's made for it. It goes above this shift cable, and the natural curve over here, it makes it looks like it's been just made for it, because obviously this has the movement, and this is high enough to just stay out of everything, out of way for everything. And then naturally this corner, when you put it here under this bolt, I've used that extra insulation to stay there, it kind of pushes against it, so it's naturally staying in that place. And you can put a zip tie on this one here to give it kind of extra protection against any movement. It's a good idea. But even this way, I found them, they never move because it's just pushing against it, not too much but enough for it to stay in that place and no move. So yeah, obviously this cannot be there because this is moving, this is power cable, a lot of current there. So again, once I got the zip ties, the black ones, I'm gonna put everything nicely there, tucked, and zip tie to it together, etc, etc. And from now we can get the second part of the cooling system, which is this part here. I have to make one. I'll do it now and I'll show you how it works. It's actually, as you can see, everything is just easy, self-explanatory actually. And a lot of bits, this is what I like, that we were able to reuse quite a lot of parts from the Toyota side without spending mega money on making everything special and on silicone hoses and everything. Because, so in other words, if I wasn't happy with this, I wouldn't be using this. I would be making something specifically designed, but this looks like specifically designed for it. If I had to make something special, it would be pretty much exactly the same. Maybe this curvature would be smoother because we don't need that, but again, it just works as it should be, so why not? Including another one, I'll show you in a second. Okay, next step is that this is provided, slightly modified, blah blah blah. But what you do, well, in this case we have a new sensor, new rubber o-ring. On the o-ring are always pretty grease on it for the same reasons that I put it on the other o-rings. You put it in. Now this one has been pointed out rightfully, it goes in quite loosely, it doesn't resist at all, so makes it almost feels like the wrong size. And yeah, but it's not, it actually works. The standard one is slightly tighter, but every time we use them we never had an issue. So they actually, well, for some reason they work okay. So yeah, they are loose, but that's how they work. I mean, I guess the pressure from inside just gives a hand to pressurize and seal the o-ring, whatever reason, whatever way, it just works. So you put that sensor back in, click it in, and this is one of them. And the other one, if you remember, the one we took out of the 1ZZ engine, this one here, well, you put it back here. And the beauty is, it measures it senses the temperature exactly what it should be, same as this one. So that is the correct reading you're gonna see on the dash. So yeah, gonna tie this one up. This is obviously from the wiring loom harness adapter. Right, cooling system pretty much finished. Let me put the light here so you can see it better. Maybe not, but good enough. So this is pretty much made out of that pipe, because you got a bit of straight and then a bit of an elbow. So what you do, you cut it, well, a bit more than half, closer to there. I will set 3 inches from that elbow to there, cut it straight. The rest, that is the side cut from here, so you reverse it. So you're using the elbow that was there to go on this bit, and the straight pipe go into this. That's what it is. And if you haven't been this, because like I say, I prefer these than the Jubilee clips, everything is there, no money spent, and everything works as it should be. Now this elbow here, you see this originally is 90 degree, you bend a little bit more than 90 degree, but it's still within reason, so all good. Now from that part there is a pipe that we supply to cool the turbo that essentially connects to this side. I'm gonna show you later on. We're gonna cut it off, put the reducer and piece of pipe that we supply into that. Now this one, this is a top of your header tank, this pipe here, you see this one here, but it has a different diameter, so you could replace the whole line with 8mm fuel line if you want to. Sometimes we've done it, but what I do, is put a little bit of a silicone pipe, like this actually was a piece of that one there. It's only about 12mm long. You put it there and use it as a reducer. And I found it just by chance, and I found out it actually works really, really well. But you have to put it inside the rubber pipe first, and that is nice and snug. When you put it on, it stays there. You put this clip back on, and this pipe then put the zip tie, and look at it. It's like standard fitment. Everything, all the bends and everything works to your favor. This couldn't work out any better. So yeah. So this is what we supply. Is a reducer. You need this one between this pipe. This is the one that comes from the turbo as a coolant to cool the turbo down, and this one here. This one goes straight into that one there, because that is the original Volkswagen size, and naturally they have the a reducer, but they don't reach over there, so we have to make that longer. So that goes there. This pipe literally goes there, and it goes roughly to that position there, because this one, you can see there is a straight bit, and then it makes this corner, this bend. If you cut it here, then put this one, actually let me show you, and there you go, reducer fitted. Now we're gonna put the pipe straight through there and connect it to that. Now if you don't run this turbo or any cooler through the turbo, I use on mine, I'm having the KO4 turbo as well, but I'm not using any cooler through. In that case, all you do is just block that one off. You just block it off, and obviously you have to remove the inlet of the turbo, which is there. Remove that bolt and put the spacer, or plug a blanking plug or whatever you want to use it. Just have to blank it off, because otherwise the water is gonna go through it. Because basically what it does the loop between there and obviously there, and between you have the turbo, which is again what they could, but yeah, I don't know, I'm not a big fan of it. Okay, at this point everything is connected. Don't forget to put this is the vacuum line from behind the throttle body, which is behind there, you can't see it now, and that's for the brake booster. So usually if you cut it the way I told you to cut in the beginning, 20 centimeters of fuel line, 8mm fuel line will be enough. It's quite tight over there, and it's quite tight over there, so it's a bit pain in the ass to put it initially, but once you put it on, it's safely there and never gonna give you issues, so you have to do that. So at this point we have all the cooling system completed. Now you can fill up and bleed it exactly as you would do the standard MR2. So there's no bleeding system, there's just fill it up, you know, bleed it from the front on the radiator and on the heater matrix. No bleeding on the engine itself. It's not required because it will bleed itself. That is the beauty of it. And then, you know, make sure this is full, go around the block, make sure the thermostat opens, fill it up again because it will consume some of the water, and that's it. Now that pipe there, the vacuum for the brake servo is on, as you can see there, nice and short, behind the throttle body, beautiful. Alright, so you got the sump out, and besides being overfilled with silicone, which is actually in the pickup a little bit there, you can just see it as usual, actually quite a lot of it to be honest. Still not enough to cause a problem, but you know, but as proper rods, Tiscan rods and CP pistons, and actually it is a stroker. What do you calculate what it is?
I'm calculating it right now.
Because we got the codes from the pistons, and this looks like over 2 litre.
90.8 stroke.
Yeah, it's got
82.
IOP main, obviously.
No, it is 2 litre.
2 litre, yeah.
1984 cc.
You got the light on your phone.
Yeah, it is so.
9. So yeah, it is okay. It is 2 litre then. So it is a stroker, genuine stroker. So this turbo setup is definitely 101% undersized.
Yeah, that's got to spool up
Yeah.
faster than standard.
What happens now, because obviously this has been mapped, but there's a couple of things that you're not sure, because who you're gonna trust. So we're gonna finish building this, and we're gonna take it to Budget 5 for final tuning, just to refine the map, make sure everything is alright. And because obviously the issue is not in the original car, some of the stuff is good to remove it from the issue. So remove the codes and everything. Otherwise, the engine management light is going to be always on, even though there's no problems. So yeah, seeing the head cover, we got the fresh one, so that's going to be on. We're going to put a baffled sump now. Lucky there's no issues. We're going to clean that. Obviously that pickup. Well, we know everything we had to know about it. But anyways, you know, it's good stuff anyway, because if someone wants, you know, 350 brakes or whatever.
Oh, it's going to be a riot to drive.
Yeah. And you know, the engine is just massively oversized as a spec. So still, but to me, it's just a shame.
Yeah, it's a bit unusual because it kind of don't make sense. I mean, the bigger capacity will lower the peak RPM because obviously it'll choke the turbo sooner. But it's got big port, which is only really useful at really high RPM.
Yeah.
But it's also got standard cams, which aren't any useful at high RPM. So it's like,
It looks like this.
It's a great build, but not very well spec'd.
This looks like someone started to build a nice build, like a nice spec. They've built the motor, they built the engine, and then
they built the bottom end and ran out of money.
Enough money is like, all right, let's chuck what we have, you know, just to make it run.
It looks well done though. Everything's marked, all the bolts and everything. So it looks like whoever built it looks like they took care.
The engine is good.
Yeah. So.
Well, enough of this. We're going to report to the customer because I guess he wants to know. Because
I was going to say I think he'd be pleasantly surprised. Obviously, he don't know for sure. You know, he bought it trusting him, I guess.
Yeah. So we weren't sure, and now we know. Good stuff. All right. See you in a bit. Put the camera on because usually we talk shit, but sometimes we'll put it on the camera. So this is my 2 senses, right? Taking with Steve, I say, okay, that is a very strong block, but how stronger this is than Steve's, just with the rods and the standard pistons, I don't think it's any stronger. Of course, you get a little bit more performance because a little bit more extra capacity, blah blah. So you have advantages and disadvantages of that, but strength-wise, I think it's actually the same. Was that Norwegian guy pushed on the standard pistons?
Over 1,000.
Over 1,000 bricks. Now,
and that's quite routine, he reckons. He said that's what they always.
So if you push the same amount of power roughly on the pistons, so we're talking strength of the engine of the internals. But if you build a stroker, you have to get the pistons for obviously those pistons, and you have to bore the cylinders, the block. Standard pistons, you can use it as you do. Fucking replacement.
I lob them in. Yeah.
If you blow an engine, you just get another one for 100 quid. You know, you can't do it once you build a block with the stroker. So you got the crank, you got the rods, you got the pistons, and you have to machine the block. It's not a replacement anymore. You know, it's not a consumable anymore.
So it depends how long you're expecting it to live.
Yeah. So,
and also depends if you want to be doing it DIY, because a lot of tuners would be like, no, I ain't putting in some standard pistons because they'd be scared because they're standard pistons.
Tuners won't do it. Well, I've explained that already. Tuners, they will always overbuild like this, the motor, just to say it's only capable half of this, just to cover the arse, which is understandable. I'll probably do the same. But we're talking our stuff, you know. So I'll probably still keep it 1.8 and standard pistons, rods. I can send it.
What tuners do for customers and what they do for themselves off the record, very different.
Yeah, it's
because
completely
obviously then they haven't got any liability when it's their own.
Yeah.
So
just again, it's not like anyone else.
No,
That's
it's
normal.
good.
It's normal. It's normality.
Yeah.
I would expect that from a tuner to do. Mine is like overbuild the engine, so it's less chances of it blowing. I mean, stuff blows anyway, but less chances.
Minimise that.
Yeah, exactly. Minimise it.
Because I mean, there is a lot to be said for strokers on these. That's why they're popular. If you think about it, an extra 200cc is what? How much percent bigger is that on the
200cc?
I'm rubbish at
What
maths.
is
15? Is that 15%?
No. That's about 10%. About 10%, because you got
more than that.
So
100, well, 180
200
would
on
be
1,000,
10%,
200 on 1,000
yeah,
would be
yeah.
20%.
Yeah, about 12 or so, 12, 15, yeah.
Roughly
so
there.
it's a fair bit, because basically what that's going to mean is you got that much percentage more power or torque before the boost.
Yeah.
So that's a fair lump.
Yeah.
You will feel it, that's for sure.
But then again, it's
I
like
don't
you
think
say.
these need more torque though. In
No.
an MR2.
No.
Because I'm traction limited anyway. I you know.
Plus, it depends what gearbox you use. And this is this thing. It all depends how specific you want to go. If you're using petrol gears, you want to extend your RPM. So that 1,000 RPMs extra you get from a non-stroker, it could be beneficial.
Yeah, and it also depends how you drive. If you're, a lot of people just aren't really the kind of people who want like revving the hell out of their car. They prefer grunt. Whereas people like me, I really just like revving the tits out.
I prefer the grunt.
One of them.
But then, at that point, it's like you said, depending where you put that engine in.
Yeah.
In a heavy car, it's one thing. In MR2, it's still grunty.
Yeah.
It's still you're in trouble.
Yeah, it makes like a 2ZZ feel like a V8. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
It's like
yeah.
my car, even though it didn't have, the power really started from 4.5, 5. If you look at my dyno graph, I made more than standard 1ZZ or 2ZZ peak torque by about 1,500 RPM anyway.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? So it's
all
relative.
No, your drive's is mega responsive.
Relative,
it's good.
so they've still got. They don't need more torque. They've got a ton of it anyway. So
Yours is the only place it lacks torque is on idle when you
try to pull off. Yeah,
pull off in a car park.
1,000 RPM.
In a car park, there you go. When you're trying to be gentle. If you stop being gentle, then no, there is such a thing as lack of anything there. So, Mark, and you, Sightful. See you soon. Okay. Thinking maybe I should show you the difference between the sumps. This is a standard sump, and this is baffled sump. So you're only having these that prevent the oil from obviously going back and invites everything to go in, all the oils. But one of the most important things is these ports. These ports allow the oil to go in from this compartment to there, and these ports won't allow this oil that has been accumulated from this into here further down. So it's not squashing, kind of traveling left and right, doing cornering. So that's something quite important, because you have the oil obviously dripping down from here, goes here, but not there because the pickup is here, and vice versa. If you're doing cornering obviously that way and the oil goes this way, whatever drips here and here goes there, but not further. So yeah, they make quite a big difference. And yeah, I think I said this before, but it's worth mentioning again. Anyways, now this sump goes on the engine nice and clean, fresh. Also, these ones not only have the baffles inside, but also they have a nice thick reinforcement. Now this reinforcement is not only important because it's thicker or as thick as the standard one, but these sumps are quite brittle. They like to crack very easily. This material is much more flexible. This will not crack, this will bend it again, but it's very difficult to actually crack it. So yeah, much more resistant. Yeah, once I unclogged, cleaned the pickup, a lot of oil started to come up. Obviously there's been a few hours now, was nothing coming out, and now there you go. So it was definitely clogged. Not massively maybe, but enough obviously for the oil to stop going down. So I'm not saying this, I just said his engine, but I definitely give it a good hand. Hopefully this was helpful enough. Another thing, lambda sensor. This is very important. Okay, so the original, when you get the engine from the Audi TT, unfortunately the lambda sensor Y is very short, and the plug is right in the corner there, and the sensor is roughly here, so there's no way it's going to reach. So some people extend the wire, some people blah blah not, but we had sometimes the longer version. This is 1.5 meters long. This is more than you need, and this is from can't remember where it's from. I think it's still from the Audi TT, but it's a different version. I think it's 180 brakes. Anyways, regardless, let me check. This is the part number, because I said we're gonna show all the part numbers. Yeah, that's all it says there. So yeah, that's the part number for it. This is the one you want.